to the DFO Rundown podcast with Frank Seravalli and Jason Gregor on dailyfaceoff.com. Delivered by DoorDash.
Welcome to episode 58 of the DFO Rundown. This is part 2 of our in-person series. Of course, Frank in town in Edmonton. We were in town for the Nation third annual golf tournament last week. It was loads of fun. And of course, we are in the woodjerseys.com temporary studio today. Woodjerseys.com, NHL certified product. You can get it. All the new teams are coming out. They're going to have all 32 of the teams. The new Seattle one looks awesome, so you can check it out. Woodjerseys.com to get your wood jersey. It looks good in your fan cave, in your office, wherever you like it. And today, in part 2 of our in-person series, we welcome in a member of the San Jose Sharks. He was drafted in 2016. He's now played the parts of the last 2 seasons with the Sharks after playing in Moose Jaw, winning a Memorial Cup with the Prince Albert Raiders. I know him quite well, Noah Gregor. Noah, how you doing, man?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Good to see you. Frank, how are you?
I'm good. Noah, you have the distinction of actually being my first in-person NHL player interview in like 2 years with the pandemic. Locker rooms being closed. Hopefully we're all getting back to somewhat sense of normalcy this season. Hopefully locker rooms can be open again, masked and double vaxxed. But yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I bet a little different for you guys all over Zoom this year. So
it was great. What was it like for you guys as players? Like you're used to media just coming in after the game or after practice, and all of a sudden it probably a little more freedom on your end.
Yeah, it was not too bad actually. We kind of would just get shooed into whatever room the local rink had set up for you. Just have you and the camera kind of just like this, and then a laptop set up so you could see some of the media's faces if they had it on, and then you just get the questions like that. It's pretty easy.
Did you like it better?
I don't know. It's definitely a lot. Sometimes it could be tough because there's connection issues, or it's just hard to get a read on what the question could actually be if you're not in person. It's a little different, but I mean, you just got to make it work. It wasn't too bad.
So let's talk a little bit about your career path. Obviously, I've followed it pretty intently. For those who don't know, Noah's my nephew, and you were one of those guys who's a pretty good hockey player. You played in Beaumont, a small community, all the time. There was no necessarily AAA until you got to Bantam. How much of your time in the basement with your brother playing mini sticks and hockey sticks do you think attributed to your success?
I mean, probably a lot of it. Definitely a lot of time spent in the basement and on the streets with buddies. I know my mom, painted the lines in our basement, but before we got it finished, we had the blue lines, the red lines. We set up nets. So definitely a lot of time spent down there. Yeah, it definitely helped my career, I think.
All on foot, or would you throw the blades on down there?
No, I was never a rollerblader, a roller hockey guy through my whole life. Never played.
Huh. So just all, shooting pucks, and then could you, when you were older, could you do, did you have enough room where it'd be full shots? Or, I've seen some of these setups now, people throw a whole net down there and, some protective stuff for your wall that you can really fire a puck.
No, we didn't. We ended up finishing the basement, so that
gets in the way.
That got ended pretty quick. We had to go to the garage.
Well, you guys had the outdoor rink, though, pretty close, didn't you?
Yeah, we had Bellevue rink, so we could go out there and shoot pucks. And then in the winter, obviously, that was unreal. And then we had, that little reservoir basketball court that me and my brother's buddies would go out there and play street hockey on all the time. It was great.
And you weren't, you're still young. You're 22, well, just turned 23. But you weren't one of those, because nowadays some kids, they're from 8, 9, they're playing year-round hockey. You never did any of that. I think you played spring hockey. Was it once? Is that it?
Yeah, 1 year going into Bantam I played.
How much do you think that helped you? Just the
hard
athleticism,
hard to say. I think
all the other stuff. So many kids are so wrapped up in, I got to play hockey 12 months a year. I got to be on the ice 4 times a week. That they can't have a baseball cap. They physically can't do it. They can't throw a football. They can't do whatever. And it's amazing to see that a highly tuned professional athlete can't do other things because they didn't have the experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how much it would have helped me if I would have played spring hockey, because I know there's lots of NHLers that did that, and that's all they did. But for me, I loved other sports. I always played basketball in school. I played baseball every summer. And I think that was probably a testament to my parents is, trying to get up there, be athletic, do other things. You don't have to just play hockey year round. So I think it definitely helped me just being more of an athlete, and that helped me in my hockey.
After you broke your elbow, can you explain how you did that?
My elbow was at the skate park on my bike, fell off my bike, went over the handlebars.
Now, did you fall off your bike, or were you trying to jump on your bike at the skate park?
These are leading questions.
Yeah,
Objection.
well, if you're trying to get into the one story where I was into the garage and I hit my head, that's another story.
Actually, I forgot about that story, but yeah, tell us. Because
I
remember the elbow one, because you have the big scar on your elbow, and I
Yeah.
remember your mom was just losing her marbles.
Yeah, so that was at the skate park, going over a jump. Just, I don't know, must have been going too hard, and went over the handlebars, landed on my elbow, broke my elbow, had to get surgery. And then the other one, which is a little more embarrassing, this was on a scooter. So I used a scooter when I was younger and built a jump going into my garage. And like, I took a big run from the street into the driveway, up into the garage, hit my head on the top of the garage, like didn't think this through at all. Went flying back, hammered just went off so hard, and I had it all on camera.
Oh.
Instantly deleted.
Yeah, you didn't knock yourself out?
No.
Oh, I can't believe
But
you
there was
deleted that.
a indent on my helmet.
Oh, well, hey, safety first, kids. Wear your helmet.
So you're saying you didn't lack for any imagination in terms of putting together these jumps and everything else?
No, I was full on skateboard kid when I was probably 8 to 14. Bikes, not much skateboard, but biking and scootering I was heavy into.
So if we wheeled a scooter in right now, could you still do like a whip?
I could still tail whip, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now, what do you like? Obviously, you don't scooter anymore, but do you, outside activities? Like, are you, do you have a dirt bike or a quad or ATV, anything like that?
No, I've kind of strayed away from my extreme sports now, just golf.
At least until hockey's over.
Yeah, then maybe I'll get back into it. I like to get into biking again. That'd be fun.
How's your golf game? You've been golfing lots this summer.
Yeah, this is probably the most I've ever golfed. I think it's improved, but there's still some games where I'm struggling. It's not great. It could be better.
So let's go back to, you win a Memorial Cup with the PA Raiders your last year in junior, and then you go to camp. Now you're 20 years old, 21 years old in your first camp. Can you tell me about like Joe Thornton? Joe Thornton, when you and Ferraro were rookies, you told me stories how like here's Joe Thornton, who by the way he was drafted first overall in '97. You weren't even born. So he had finished a full season of the NHL. Then you were born in the summer of 1998. Yeah, like Joe was like, I don't know, like he's a teammate, but like a big brother. Can you talk about that relationship? And was it a little nerve-wracking when all of a sudden like Joe Thornton's like, hey, come over for dinner?
Yeah, I mean, Joe is unreal. One of the best teammates I've ever had, and he was great to the young guys. I know him and Ferraro are super close still to this day, and me and Ferraro are really good buddies. So a few times a year, Jumbo invited me back to his place, and we just hang out, watch movies, or he'd take us out for dinner. That happened a couple times, and I'll still hop on FaceTime with him every now and then. So he was great for me, and also in the dressing room, just making you feel comfortable, talking to you every day. So he was great for me.
Big FaceTime. It's funny. What's your reaction like? What would like an 8-year-old Noah Gregor have said when you have Joe Thornton FaceTiming you?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a little funny to think of, but once you become his teammate, it just becomes normal. So, I mean, an 8-year-old Noah Gregor would definitely be pumped to be FaceTiming Joe Thornton.
Did you have a welcome to the NHL moment, like a sort of can't believe I got to pinch myself, I'm here?
I mean, probably just my first game. I don't know
Where
if I
was it?
really had a welcome to the NHL moment. Just skating out, of the shark head for the first time, that is an incredible feeling. The Metallica going before you get on the ice was super cool. I don't know if I had like a specific welcome to the NHL, but just that first game I'll always remember.
So you've got like 50 games under your belt. Do the nerves go away? Like are you fully comfortable when you're playing at that level?
Yeah, I think so. I think for the first year or the half the year that I was up, there was probably nerves for the majority of that season. Just knowing that, each game you can be in and out of the lineup, just trying to be as best as you can. And then still just going up, every game was a new star player that I had to play against, whether it's Crosby or McDavid or just whoever. There's stars these games that I grew up watching, and, you're kind of in awe. But I think that sort of went away the second year pro, and now I'm a lot more comfortable than I was.
Was there one player that you were most excited to face?
Yeah, Alex Ovechkin. By far, he was my favorite player growing up, so that was a really cool thing be able to play in that game against him.
Did you say hi to him on the ice?
No, I did not.
So you just keep to yourself, like try and, hey, I've been here before, treat it like any other game?
Well, I don't know about that, but I was just watching. I remember in warm-up, just watching him his whole entire warm-up, just trying to just watch him, kind of just in awe, because he was my favorite player growing up. Just loved the way he played, so that was definitely a cool experience for me.
What's it like having an uncle in the media? Do the guys know? Do they have any idea? And do they break your balls at all about Uncle Jason up in Edmonton?
Not a ton. I don't know if everyone knows. I think a few guys do. I mean, San Jose media is a lot different, I think, than the Canadian markets, especially here in Edmonton. But no, there's definitely some guys that know him and have talked to him before, but they don't really, they're not breaking my balls too much, telling me that I'm giving them too much info or anything like that.
Not much to break.
We're
Class
good.
act here all the time.
Well, and there's not even like you can say there's like a big look-alike thing. Like you have way more hair, so
No.
yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
You're not follically challenged, so that's good.
Well, it might be coming. It's funny because his brother, who's was similar to my older brother, his dad, he loved his hair. Like, when I had hair, I didn't like it. I shaved my head, and so going bald was easy for me. It was great. I was like, good, I don't have to cut it anymore. But my brother loved his hair.
Seems like more work than ever. All you're doing is constantly shaving it.
Well, not much now. Like, I can go like 5-6 days without having to do it. It's pretty easy. But my brother loved his hair. Like, and he had long hair. Like, Noah just got a haircut today. It's too bad because he had a big head of hair going on. And my brother, all of a sudden, like 25, just kind of went away.
And he kind of went away.
Yeah, like and he was rattled for like you weren't even allowed to make jokes about it, but of course as a brother you did. And Noah's older brother Liam, he has like a 2 head. He's got the thickest head of hair ever. And so similar, like Noah's maybe starting to, like the peaks are coming in a little bit possibly.
We shall see. I'm gonna hold on to it as long as I can, but yeah, not the best genes for hair, I don't think.
No. Now, speaking of your dad, because your dad played in the Dub and he played minor pro for a few years, was at Oilers and Flames camp, and as a kid, because have you seen some of his fight tapes? And obviously, he's scored some goals, won national championships with Acadia. But was it weird as a kid? Because you see your dad, he coached you a lot, and I don't think he ever really talked about that side of his game. I think it was when you guys were teenagers, maybe. Was it funny watching your dad fight?
It's a side of him that you don't see too much because he is for the most part, he's a calm guy. Every now and then he'll have a couple snap shows, but he's, it was really, I remember those tapes you had at Grandma's basement that we would throw on. I think they're just like VHS.
VHS, old school.
Yeah,
man.
when he was playing in the Dub, and he had a couple good scraps. And I know every now and then I'll talk to someone that played with him, and they just said, yeah, he's sneaky, tough player when he played in the Dub. So
Have these made it to hockeyfights.com?
I don't think
Got to
so.
get them digitized and get them on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a few I remember because as a younger brother back then, like nowadays kids are watching. Like, what do you mean? I just hit Google and you can see anything. Like I had to wait. None of the games were on TV back then, so I would read the stats page and stuff, and they would send home tapes of goals and highlights of games. And as a younger brother, of course, you're a pretty big fan, so I'd see his goals and stuff. And then they did this player profile for him, and he's playing in Lethbridge, and they showed, and he sends this home. He's like, and my brother's a pretty humble guy, but he's like, yeah, this fight was pretty good. So he's fighting this kid from Medicine Hat, and like the first 30 seconds, nothing's happening. I'm like, well, this is a joke. This is the worst fight I've ever seen. And then all of a sudden, he hammers him 2 uppercuts and just KOs the kid. And you see him skating to the penalty box, and he's sitting there, and I'm like, now we're on the phone and we're talking. I'm like, what were you thinking on the bench? And he's like, God, I thought I killed the kid. Like I kind of felt bad at that point, but because he would snap. And then instantly, he was calm, and he would because my brother was growing up like we never fought, right? Never.
How much older is he?
Just 2 years.
Okay.
And so and obviously when he was 16, he was like 16 going on 20 physically, and I was 14 going on 10. So it wouldn't have been a good matchup anyway. But I had never really seen that side of him either. And so it's funny to see someone, and even now when they talk to guys, like Jason Strudwick, who I work with, is really super nice guy off the ice.
All of the heavyweights I've ever known were always the nicest, calmest,
and they
most
can just
polite.
snap.
Not only that, but like they're also the most personable for whatever reason. Like every stop, every team that I ever covered really closely, it was always. And I was actually thinking about a couple guys on the way up here, like the Jody Shelleys that came through, the Jay Rosehills, like all these guys that they'd be the first to come up to you, shake your hand, say hi, what's going on, and they were always the nicest guys, and it was almost like not a switch that needed to be flipped, but it was like a role that you needed to play. It was like putting on a mask almost, like you're getting geared up for that moment, that fight, when that's how you're earning your paycheck.
And your coaches right now, you've got Bob Bugner and you got Rocky Thompson. two really tough guys, right? Bob played in the league a long time. Rocky and Rocky's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. Like, you talk hockey with him, it's amazing. Do you guys as players, do you go on and watch your coaches' fights?
I've seen a lot of Rockies because his fights are insane. I haven't watched too many of Buggy's, but I know they were both tough players when they played. So, I mean, intimidating guys, but both great coaches.
You mentioned just how Jumbo sort of brought you in and helped you, sort of feel comfortable and sort of introduce you as one of the vets. What's it like as a young kid playing on a team that has so many vets? Like, there are so many stars and big names in San Jose. What's it like to try and sort of assimilate yourself into that group? And then especially once Jumbo leaves, how different does the place feel?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of veteran guys, probably 3 Hall of Famers that I've been able to play with on that team. So it's really cool just to be able to see how they go about their business and how they go about their career. And then obviously when Jumbo left, that was a huge hole to the team. I think definitely in the dressing room, because he's one of the more vocal guys in the room, one of the leaders for sure in the room. And I think when he left, that definitely left a little bit of a hole in that sense. But I know there's a lot of great leaders on our team with Cooch and Tommy and Carl. So those guys do a great job when he left. So and then I think with some younger guys now coming in, I know Ferraro's a huge leader in that room, one of the most vocal guys on the team, even for a second-year guy. And then we have Kanishov, who came in as a first-year guy, who really played a lot for our team and did a good job. So we got some young guys coming up now to kind of mix in with those older guys.
Brent Burns is, a heck of a player, and he's a very unique guy, right? Of course, we had him on when he was in Vikings. I don't know if you guys watched the episode or not, and because he fits in, he didn't have to dress up anything. It was probably like the easiest at all to get into wardrobe. It's just how he is. Have you ever experienced? Because he likes to eat a lot of different foods. Have you went on like a trying different food extravaganza with Brent Burns?
No, I have not. I'd like to. I know when we were in Arizona for camp, because we didn't get to go back into San Jose, he brought his grill, and he was grilling in the parking lot of the hotel, all his meat out. So, yeah. But
like burgers? What was he grilling out there?
I have no idea. I think he had a bunch of meats going, and he was smoking it up in the parking lot.
What do you do with the grill when it's done? Like, are you bringing that thing on the charter home? Like, what do you like? It's unreal.
Well, he drove down to Arizona from San Jose, so he just packed her up in his truck and drove back to San Jose when we were able to go back home.
How difficult was that year? I mean, look, we've talked about a lot of different teams and the challenges that they went through last year. Dallas and all the things they went through with, the natural disaster there and then their COVID issues. But you guys, it was probably less publicized than a lot of other teams, but just with the issues with Santa Clara County and then getting back, you guys were gone for what, the first 30 days, 40 days, I guess something like that?
Yeah, at least. Well, we had training camp in Arizona, so we were staying in Scottsdale, and then the first, I want to say 10 games were on the road. So then we would kind of just go back to Arizona in between games, and then we'd go on the road again. So we didn't get back to San Jose for probably a month and a half. So I think that was really tough for, especially on the older guys with kids and wives.
Their kids are in school and...
Yeah, exactly. It was a little easier for a guy like me, just a single guy living off the hotel. It wasn't too tough for me. You still get per diem and all the meals taken care of. So it was actually pretty all right.
You're like, whether it's San Jose or Arizona, it's still probably a hotel for a bit. So
yeah. So for me, it wasn't too difficult, but I know for a lot of the older guys, it was really hard on them, and you could see them. It was kind of wore on those guys. And we actually came out of that trip, I think, right around 500. So we did a pretty good job of, kind of getting through that and getting back to home base. But it was definitely a tough thing to go through for our team.
And there was, so many things that are unexpected from the young age hockey players, especially once you get to kind of Bantam and midget and then into junior, you're kind of used to a routine. And for a lot of players, this was completely different, and your routine had to change. How much was that a mental challenge? Or was that a big issue for you at all?
A little bit. I think, you could still kind of have the same routine. It was just small things were different, not being able to get dressed in the same dressing room as your team. I think we had sort of 3 rooms where players would get dressed and in our home rink. So you'd have the main room, and then you'd have the gym, which was another room, and then kind of like our meal area where there was more guys that would get dressed.
Because you had basically like 7 guys in each room. Correct?
Yeah, so kind of all the veterans would get the main room, and then the younger guys or whatever, the less experienced guys would get the other rooms. So it was a little different in that sense. You couldn't really hang out as much before games and talk and listen to music. So that was a little different. And then obviously during intermissions, you're not talking quite as much. Everyone would kind of conjoin for when the coaches would come in between periods. So, but other than that, it was pretty normal once you got to the rink. Besides kind of being in different spaces, but other than that, it was pretty much normal.
So now during a game, though, are you telling me that an intermission, let's say Bugner comes in, speaks for 3 or 4 minutes, the whole team, and then after that, you guys had to go back to your 3 separate rooms?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, you could definitely go and talk to players, but I mean, all your stuff that you need to get ready for the period's in your stall. So you kind of got to go back to your stall. You got to tape your stick, make sure your skates are all right, whatever you have to do. Each guy's different, but yeah, that was definitely a challenge, I think, that everyone was in different spaces.
Tough for team continuity, I would think.
I think a little bit. You kind of just had to make it work. I think most teams were dealing with that anyway, so you just had to roll with it and make the best of it.
So what I was going to ask, were you guys unique in that? Like, I didn't hear much about that last year. Were other teams able to have their whole team in the same room?
I'm not sure.
I
don't know.
Yeah, most teams were. Santa Clara, you guys.
I think because Santa Clara County, our
unique,
county was
right.
very strict. That's why we weren't able to be there for training camp.
I always wondered this. What is your intermission routine? Since you mentioned it, like, what do you go? Like, some guys gear all the way down for the most part. Like, they're taking shoulder pads, skates off. Like, what? It's such a quick turnaround. How do you handle your intermission?
Pretty simple. Just helmets off, gloves off. That's it, and then I'll tape my stick. Not much special for me.
So you retape your stick every intermission?
Both intermissions, yeah.
Wow. So that's 3. Do you tape before the game too?
I don't tape after warm-up, which is a little different. I don't think many guys do that.
Before warm-up, though, so it's 3 tape jobs per game.
Yeah, fresh tape for warm-up, and then I usually don't tape it after warm-up unless it gets really chewed up, and then I'll go first intermission, second intermission, yeah.
Now, who's got the most interesting intermission routine? Like, who's gearing all the way down?
Well, Patty Marlowe definitely has the most unique in between the second and third.
Dresser ever.
It's insane. So in between the second and third, if he feels like he needs a little more gas in the legs, he'll get completely undressed, hop in the cold tub for 2 or 3 minutes, come back out, get redressed, and then he's ready to go for the intermission or
he
for the
apparently
third
can
period.
Get geared up in like literally 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Skates tied and everything.
It's crazy. Like undressed, hot or cold tub, back dressed, like 10 minutes.
Well, the guy's barely missed any games, man. Maybe you might have to start.
I know.
The cold tub between periods. So he doesn't do the cold tub every game. It's only if he feels like he's got to rejuvenate.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he does it every game, but he definitely does it a lot.
Wow.
Works.
Now obviously, yeah, it's worked. The guy's had a pretty good career. Most games played in NHL history. What about pregame? Are there certain guys that are really superstitious? And did you see other guys just try to screw with them a little bit just to have fun with it? Because every team has 1 or 2 guys. It's just like, he's got to be left glove or left sock on. Who are the guys, and who are the guys that maybe teammates like to have the fun with the most in pregame?
Well, Ryan Donato is the most superstitious player before a game that I've seen. He's there really, really early for the game, and he starts his warm-up. I think his warm-up's like an hour long. Like, he gets a good sweat going. He's doing a bunch of stuff with our trainers, and then he'll come in, and everything is it's all set, and it's super long. So he was one of the guys, and kind of because he's with the younger guys a little more and getting dressed, so the younger guys would give it to him a little bit. But yeah, Ryan Donato for sure had the most unique pre-game routine that I've seen so far.
What would he do after? So the warm-up's one thing. I know a lot of guys like to get a sweat on, but what would he do afterwards that took so long?
I don't know. I think he just really liked to prepare for the game. Like, he loved to get a good stretch. He liked to get a good sweat. Like, I think he would lift a little bit of weights before the game too. Like, he just is unique in that way. Yeah.
What about you? What do you do?
Little different. I kind of
You do nothing, do you?
no. I do. I like to play sewer ball, so I'll play soccer, a little 2-touch, get my sticks ready, then I'll do a quick dynamic warm up, and then get dressed.
Are you a visualization guy? Because like that's one thing, like especially the guys that are there really early. Like some guys I see, they like to go sit on the bench or they'll sit in the stands and just like, does that help you at all? I would find personally like thinking about it less would probably be helpful because you've already sort of done that whole process. Like even the night before, like you're thinking and visualizing sort of the whole way up to it.
Yeah, no, I don't really kind of set aside a time where I'm doing that, where I'm thinking about the game too much. I kind of just like to keep it simple, keep it chill, hang out with teammates, have some laughs, listen to music, and then maybe a little bit when I'm starting to get dressed and things are ramping up a little bit for the game, I'll think about things that I need to accomplish in the game. But I'm not a huge visualization guy. I haven't really dug into that too much in my game.
How are Jones and Dubnyk, if guys fired headshots accidentally at him in practice or warm up, who is more the snap show of the two?
Devin Dubnyk, for sure. Jones is a very, very chill, low-key guy. Doobie was a little more round-tied, I'd say. But he is a great guy, too. But, I mean, even when he had that little mix-up with Binnington, you could see that he's...
he was ready to roll?
He was ready to go.
He was going to pound him. Like, Dubnyk's way bigger at him. Because that was when Binnington, for those who don't know, Binnington, they're playing San Jose and St. Louis. And Binnington kind of did, like, the fake to Jones. And that's when Dubnyk snapped.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a bit of a crazy thing there. But, yeah, Dubnyk was ready to go, and I would have taken Dubnyk there.
Oh, yeah. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big body.
Yeah, he is. So we asked you about your dad's fights, and our producer Tyler was checking out hockeyfights.com, looking up your record. 3 in the WHL and 1 in the AHL, but none in the NHL. What's it going to take for you to get there, and do you think you will eventually?
I think eventually it'll happen. I'm usually good for 1 a year. So, no, it hasn't happened yet. There haven't even really been too many.
I mean, fighting's just way down in general.
It's so down, yeah. I don't know, probably just a teammate getting hit or just me having to really lose it. So, we'll see. I'm sure at one point it'll happen, but I'm definitely not out there looking for one.
I'm sure someone's asked, right?
No, not really. Not
Really?
me, at least. No.
That's good.
Ty's got a question over
Have you gone back and watched some of your tilts on hockey fights?
No, because they're not great.
They're not good?
I think there's one in maybe 2 in junior that I would say were decent fights. The other 2 were quick, and I lost. And then the one in the American League wasn't very good either. So I'm not watching those too often.
That's fair. Now, you head into this year. Can you talk about the mindset when you had your first, because you've been to camp when you know you're going back to junior. And while young guys still, hey, I want to make the team, you're probably realistic about where you're going. How is your mindset going into this year's camp when you've played now 50 games, or almost 60 games, and it's competition, like now it's a job. So do you feel your mindset and your approach is more serious or different than it has been in the previous 2 years?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the past 2 years, for sure, I definitely wanted to just make a really good impression and let the coaches know that I can play in the NHL. I don't know if it was really... I mean, last year, for sure, I wanted to be an impact player and make the team. But the year before, I didn't really think that I was going to make the team out of camp. I didn't, but maybe that was the wrong mindset to have. But this year, I'm definitely looking to be a part of the team all year. Be playing every single game, and be a big part of the team.
So what did you do? What did you work on this summer that's going to make you a better NHL player?
I mean, I think a lot of the same things that I've been doing. I've got a great trainer here in the summer that I work really hard with, and then I've been skating a lot more, I would say, than I have in the past. I think that's helping me a little bit. So just trying to improve my game on the ice with, just your everyday skills that you need for the NHL.
We mentioned you didn't play a lot of spring hockey growing up. I feel like it's been a trend in general with NHL players. We had Andrew Cogliano on a few weeks ago, and he was just saying he's skating way more than he ever did. He used to be one of those guys that sort of started skating again in August. Do you think that's been more of a trend in terms of, it seems like more NHL players are skating earlier in the summer than they ever have been?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a trend. I think just the way the game is going, it's a lot more speed. It's a lot more skill. I mean, there's still definitely room for, the big, powerful players. I think, the NHL champions the past few years have all been bigger teams that can also skate and have, a lot of skill. So I think getting on the ice a little more and, focusing on that area of your game instead of kind of just trying to bulk up and put on weight might be a little more to your benefit.
Do you watch much video?
I wouldn't say a ton, but yeah, I definitely do.
In the summer? Like you spend time going back?
No, not quite. No, not as much in the summer, but definitely during the season.
The skill development, like guys now they're on the ice more, not just skating. I think they're more doing like skill development stuff. You've always been blessed. You're very fast. And you've got a really good shot. So what are like deflections and around like the garbage goal type of thing? Like I know I joked about it. Your first few goals, I was like, feel free to mix in a garbage goal. But how do you work on those elements? Because when you watch playoff hockey, so many of the goals are literally within 8 feet of the net. So what are some drills that you do as a forward that can allow you to enhance your chances to score those type of goals?
Yeah, there definitely are. I mean, just tight drills. I think even doing small area games definitely helps in that aspect. Whether when there's no crowded area in front of the net, you got to be able to have the skill to make a move and then get the puck away quick. So I think small area games definitely help with that. Deflection plays, and then the rest I think is just a little bit of a mindset. You have to be able to be willing to go to those areas, and sometimes that's not something you can really practice. You just have to start doing it in the games and have that mindset that you're going to do it, and then those things will happen.
We always like to end our episodes with rapid fire. The only rule is you have to answer every question. So, now, your really good buddy, your former roommate, Brett Howden, is now in Vegas. If Howden and Gregor got in a fight, who wins?
Noah Gregor.
Did you guys ever get close? Like, was there spirited wrestling matches when you guys? Because you lived together in Moose Jaw, I think, for 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. A couple, not too many though. No, I don't know. It'd be a good fight because he's got the size on me, but I think I might be a little stronger.
What is one food you wouldn't eat?
Fruit on salads.
Fruit on salad?
Like you can't mix in an apple or?
No apples, like strawberries, berries. Don't like that on my salads.
Really? Okay. Wow, that's unexpected. I like that. Unique. Right now, who's your celebrity crush?
Man, the boys on the
I don't
Sharks
know
are
if
gonna
she's
love
quite a
this.
celebrity. She's a big YouTube streamer girl, Kernikov.
Yes, you have no idea who that is.
No idea.
Tyler is laughing.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, I'll have to look that one up. Okay. What does she stream on YouTube?
She's like a gamer, Instagram model, YouTuber girl.
Okay.
Just so you know, we're gonna be tweeting her this link. So
Oh yeah, that'll be fantastic.
we'll see what we can do.
I don't think she'll give me the time of day.
How's your gaming skills? What do you game? What do you play? What are you good at?
I actually haven't played all summer, but during the season, usually just Fortnite, Call of Duty.
Who are the best gamers on the Sharks?
Matt Nieto, he's a solid player.
Who's the worst?
I'd probably be up there just because I don't play very much, so maybe me.
Well, I know I still have the Gallagher record at the Gregor household when he was a kid. I crushed him. They must have had that high score for years till they had to unplug the machine. That's the only game I was good at, though.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Gallagher? You've never played
I
Gallagher?
don't think so.
Holy cow, dude. Like, come on. That's one of the all-time greatest arcade games ever. Stand-up arcade games. Now, when you played in the Western League, favorite opposing rink to play in?
I really liked Seattle.
Why Seattle?
Just their fans. They would have like a chant when the opposing team came out. I can't remember how, but it'd basically be like Warriors, Moose Jaw sucks, Moose Jaw sucks. So that was cool. And then most of the American teams are great. Like Portland had a great rink. Spokane was cool. Yeah, and Seattle. Probably those three.
Rink you hated playing in?
Well, before I played there, Prince Albert. But then when I was a part of them, it was great. It was unreal.
So why now? Obviously, you're the home team, but what did you hate about it when you were a visitor?
Well, just that it was usually so cold. It was a long hike from Moose Jaw, like a 5-hour, and we would day trip it. So it's tough trip. And then the dressing rooms are old. The rink is small. And it was always a tough team to play, too. Prince Albert was always a tough team to play. So that probably made it a little tougher as well.
If you could have, let's say you scored a Stanley Cup winning goal, do you have a celebration planned? Have you ever thought about a cool celly? And if not, who has the best cellies in the league?
I have not thought about my celebrations. I'm not much of a celly kind of guy. If you watch my goals, there's not much going on after. And then the best in the game is probably Patrick Kane.
Yeah, didn't your friends chirp you when you scored your first NHL goal which was a snipe goal over Jonathan Quick's shoulder on Black Friday of Thanksgiving weekend, and you barely celebrated, and your buddies were all over you?
A little bit, yeah. I just kind of put my hands up in the air. Well, I didn't really know it went in because it hit the post, and then I couldn't see through the defenseman, so I didn't know for sure, so I just kind of threw my hands up. And then, yeah, a few of them from around here were like,
but I get that. Like
throw a big celly.
I had a hole-in-one a few weeks ago where I was like, why didn't you go nuts? I was like, first off, like, I don't want to be that guy. And second, like, I wasn't even totally sure it was in, so.
How long a hole was it, by the way?
180.
Oof.
Yeah, it was a good one, but it was like, I guess any hole-in-one's a good one, but like, still.
Like, did you shank it and got lucky, or was it
no, like off the club, the guys in my group, we were playing a match, they were like, that's butter, like right away. And it was sick, but I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy that's running around the golf course yelling. Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
yeah, hole in one's a little different. There's no crowd. You got 17,000.
No, but I'm saying like I get the whole, I sort of act like you've been here before.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just they haven't came to me yet. Maybe I'm just not good at it.
Whatever gets you seem pretty mellow, but what fires up Noah Gregor?
Just in life?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Not much, honestly.
Apparently YouTube and Twitch stars.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Noah, thanks so much, man. It's great having you here. As Frank said, first live studio guest that we've had for a long time due to COVID and everything, so we appreciate it. Best of luck in San Jose.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was great.
Yeah, we'll be watching.
Thanks for listening to the DFO Rundown with Seravalli and Gregor. Keep it locked on dailyfaceoff.com and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from to never miss an episode. Delivered by DoorDash.